So in this lecture, we're going to see how we can add a model, which is a window popping up whenever you click on a link. And instead of going into deep explanation, I'm going to make a quick demo, so here it is. Here we have a nice model that includes some content. And I'm going to show you just right now what we're aiming for. So what we want is to have a nice contact form showing up when we click on the Contact Us button. And this, we're going to realize that by using the model.js. So without any further ado, we're going to go back to our template, Bootstrap template.html. In your code editor, you're going to see that link. And this is this link which will trigger the model. So for the model, I put some indication. We have a comment that indicates you where we're going to place our code. And I made it easy for you because for the code, you'll need to go to the code snippet file, then copy the HTML markup. But we're not going to do that just right now. Also, I put some CSS that you're going to paste in your file custom.css. So make sure to have this one open in your code editor. So we're going to go back to the Bootstrap documentations in order to understand how model.js works. So you're going to go on the JavaScript page under the section model. That's divided into parts. So first we have the button, which is the trigger for the model. Below we have the model, the div model, which is going to show up when we click on that trigger button. And something that you've seen before with other demonstrations like collapse.js or the carousel, we have the data attributes. And for this particular case, we have the data toggle for the model action. The data attributes are binding the HTML with JavaScript, and this is an indication that HTML5 is working with JavaScript in order to make an action happen. Meaning that the model action will occur and will be triggered whenever we click on the button. In order for the action to happen, we need to connect those two divs, and for that we're going to use the data attributes data target, which is going to use a unique ID, my model. And logically, we're going to find the same ID in the next div, my model. So what we're going to do right now is copy this piece of code, and we're going to paste it inside the anchor tag in our template. So this anchor tag, contact us, will be used as a trigger for the model. So here we have the data toggle, which is going to indicate which action will be triggered when we click on the button. Then we have a data target ID, which is going to indicate on which div the action will happen. Although this div doesn't exist yet, so this is what comes next. We'll need to go get the code in order to create the model. And for that, you're going to go to your code snippet file, you're going to go to model, and you're going to copy from line 15 all the way down to the line 53. Back to the template, you're going to go under model goes here, and you're going to paste. So let's go check out now in the browser to see the results. So we're going to go reload the page and click on the Contact Us button, and here it is. So now we have a nice contact form popping up. This is our model, inside of which we have a contact form with two fields for the name and the email, and we also have nice icons. So these are the glyph icons, although the styling is a little bit off. So we're going to go check this out back in our template. We're going to go over the code just a bit. So here we have the body of the model. Inside the body we have the form. Then we have a form group for each input, and here we can recognize the glyph icon that are included in a span. For each glyph icon we're using a common class, which is the glyph icon, which is the base class, and to that we're going to add another class which is specific to the icon that we want to use. The second glyph icon is for an envelope, for the email field. So when we checked the template, the position of the glyph icon wasn't quite right. Looks like we'll need some styling, and I thought of it, so that's why I've prepared some codes. Here we're going to find them in the code snippet file. You're going to go to CSS, which is from line 59 all the way to 71. You're going to paste these new CSS rules right before the media queries. Here it is, and then you're going to save, and then you're going to go check out the result again in the browser. We're going to check by clicking again on Contact Us, and here it is. So now we have our icons that are nicely displayed, evenly centered horizontally and vertically. And we even have some padding between the icons and the placeholders. So we're going to go back to our CSS to understand how we did that. So what we did for the glyph icons is to position them absolutely, relatively to the divs with a class of form group inside a div with a class of model. Then we've positioned them 29% from the top and 2% from the left. And I've also changed the default color from black to a dark gray. Finally, in order to leave some room for these icons, I put some padding inside the input, about 7%. We're going to continue our demonstration by looking at optional sizes. So we can have either a large model, like this one, or we can also have a small model, like this small tiny one. And below we have the presentation as to how we can achieve that. So for that, this is the two-steps process. We're going to need to use two different classes on two divs. First, we're going to copy this class, which is bs-example, -model, -lg for large. So we're going to place this one in the same div in which we have a class of model. We need another class, and this one can be found next to the class model dialog. So we're going to copy model -lg for large. Then we're going to find the same div with the same class of model dialog. Then you're going to paste. We're going to now check out the result and click on Contact Us. And here it is. So now we have a nice, much bigger model for our contact form, although the message box is quite small. So we can adjust that by going back to our markup. We're going to go find the form element. And here we have our text area for the message, and we're going to change the value of the attributes columns from 71 to 100. Okay, so that's a little bit bigger, but it's not yet enough. So let's try 150. We're going to reload, and then we're going to fire off again the model by clicking on Contact Us. Way too big, so we're going to find something more in the middle, maybe 140. And here we go, so that seems like the right number. Following the same process, so this time what we're going to do is have a small model. So for that, what we need to do is simply change the LG with SM. And in our source code, we're going to change for the two classes from LG to SM for small. And before checking the results, there is one last adjustment to do, and this is for the text area for the message box. We're going to change the value to 40, so it fits inside the smaller version of the model. And we're going to reload and click again to fire off the small model version, and here it is. So now we have a nice contact form, much smaller that we've achieved by using the small model. And here it is, we can see that we could do some adjustments with the icons. The icons are too close to the placeholder, so we're going to go back to the custom files.css files in order to change the value of the padding left for the input inside the div with the class of model. We're going to increase this number to 9%. And here it is, so now we have enough space between the icons and the placeholders.